بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله محمد بن عبد الله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. And the difference between how the Muslims are dealing with the prayer now and how the Salaf used to deal with the prayer. When I'm talking about the Salaf, I'm referring to those companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa radiyallahu anhum ajma'in, as well as the tabi'een who were taught by those companions. But before dealing with the issue of the Salah, I just want to make a point that comes to us from a hadith of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam that goes to show that the religion of the companions, it has to be the religion that we are upon today. The way they understood Islam, the way they practiced Islam, the way that they existed, they are the blueprint for success. There's an authentic hadith that the Prophet, he said sallallahu alaihi wasallam to his companions, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, Ukasha, Bilal, Zayd, all of them were in the masjid. He told his companions, إنكم في زمان كثير علمائه قليل خطبائه من ترك عشر ما يعرف فقد ضل ويأتي على الناس من بعد زمان كثير خطبائه قليل علمائه من استمسك بعشر ما يعرف فقد اهتدى. This tremendous hadith shows us the disparity and the difference between the companions. Those companions were chosen divinely by Allah. They were a special group of people, just as our Nabi is al-Mustafa al-Mukhtar. Allah divinely chose him. He could have chose Abu Lahab, Abu Jahl. He could have chose Umayyah ibn Khalaf, la'natullah alayhim. He could have chose any of them to be the Nabi and the Rasul. They had some good qualities about themselves, but he chose Muhammad ibn Abdullah, the Yatim. So he is Mukhtar, Mustafa. Just as the Nabi was divinely chosen, his companions were divinely chosen. There had to be some special people who were with him in order to carry this message. It wouldn't have been appropriate for Abu Usamah to be there. Wouldn't have been appropriate for the people in the audience to be there, because if Islam was left up to us to carry it and to make the sacrifices that they made, then it doesn't appear that we're the type of people who are willing to make those sacrifices that they made. Like this masjid right now, this masjid, I'm sure that this masjid has some ongoing bills, responsibilities that we have in terms of the lights and the water and all of those issues. But sometimes it's very difficult for the administration, for an example, to get money and support from the community. But we're very quick to pay money for cable TV, money for eating out, money for, not that those things are haram. The point is, those companions, they sacrificed everything that they owned, fi sabilillah. So this hadith, it shows that they're the blueprint. The Prophet told them, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you companions, you're living during a time where there are many ulama at any given time. In the masjid, Abu Bakr is an alim, Umar is an alim, Ali ibn Abi Talib is an alim, Abu Hurairah an alim, Ibn Umar, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Aisha is an alima, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Ubay ibn Ka'b, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. They're all sitting in the masjid and they're ulama. You live in the east of this city, he lives in the west, this one lives over there, and your neighbor is not just one scholar, you have multiple scholars you can go to from the companions. He said, you people are living in a time where there are many ulama and there are only a few khutaba. There are not many people give the khutbah during the time of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As a matter of fact, no one ever stood on his minbar. He was the only one who gave the khutbah for Eid. He was the only one who gave the khutbah for Jummah. He was the only one. And when he died, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Bakr went and stepped on the second step. The Nabi used to be on the third step. When Abu Bakr stepped on the second step, the people were amazed. No one ever stepped on that minbar. He said that you people are living in a time where there are many ulama and there are only a few khutaba. In the city of Toronto, every masjid has 1 or 2 or 3 khatibs. There are many khatibs, but how many ulama are in this city? He said, anyone from amongst you companions, if you leave 1/10 of your religion, the companions, if you abandon 1/10 of your religion, you will go astray. So the companions used to pray the nawafil prayers. They used to fast Mondays and Thursdays. They used to go and make all kind of extra efforts. He said, there's going to come a time where the khutaba will be many. There are going to be many khatibs, and there are going to be only a few ulama. During that time, if a person holds on to 1/10 of his religion, he'll be guided aright. That's our time. Now look at the disparity and the difference. The companions, if one of them left off, abandoned 1/10 of the religion, they would have gone astray because the standard was very high. With them is the Nabi, they're special people. Now the time is different. If a person holds on to 1/10 of the religion, he'll be guided aright. If he just prays 5 prayers a day, if he just fasts the month of Ramadan, if he just made Hajj one time in his life, if she wears hijab without niqab, just hijab, a hijab is okay, just the hijab, proper hijab, she doesn't go the extra step and wears niqab. If the people during this time just held on to 10% of their religion, they'll be okay, because we're living in the worst time. The Nabi, he said in an authentic hadith, مَا مِنْ عَامٍ إِلَّا وَالَّذِي بَعْدَهُ شَرٌّ مِّنْهُ حَتَّى تَلْقُوا رَبَّكُمْ. There's no year except that the one that comes after it is worse than the one that preceded it until you meet your Lord. So we are living in the worst time known to Bani Adam. This is a bad time to live in. But a person can navigate through this terrible time if he holds on to that kitab and he holds on to that sunnah. But how does he hold on to it? The way those companions held on to it. So this hadith, the companions, if one of them left 10% of their deen, they'll go astray. Now, if someone holds on to 10%, that's all, he'll be guided aright. It goes to show the companions are the blueprint for success. For each and every one of us, they're the blueprint for success. We have to pattern our lives after them, our ibadah after them, our aqidah after them, and so forth and so on. So now the question that we want to present to you in our presentation is, how was the salah with the companions? How did they look at the salah? This salah in al-Islam that the Prophet said about it, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as-salat khayru mawdu', فَمَنْ اسْتَطَاعَ إِنْ يَسْتَكْثِرْ مِنْهَا فَلْيَسْتَكْثِرْ. The salat is the best thing that you can do. So whoever has the ability to make more prayer, do it, make more. Today, we did different things today. There's nothing you did better today from your actions that's better than the salat. We said to people, Assalamu alaikum, we sneezed and we said, Alhamdulillah. The person said, Yarhamakallah. We say, Yahdikumullah, wa yusru barakum. We visited the sick person. We called our relatives. We gave sadaqah. We did different things today. There's nothing that you did better than praying to Allah today. Nothing better than the salah. He told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, al-ahdu alladhi baynana wa baynahum as-salah. فَمَنْ تَرَكَهَا فَقَدْ كَفَرَ. The difference between us, the people in this masjid, the difference between us and all of those other people out here in Toronto, Sikhs, Jews, atheists, Christians, the difference between us and them is the salah. So whoever abandons that prayer, he's a kafir, disbelief. He fell into an action of kufr. It's one of the distinctions between us and them. one of the main distinctions between us and them. How did the companions look at this prayer? How did they deal with this prayer? And how do we look at it? There are many issues we can bring to the table. One of them at the top of the list is what was stated by one of the Imams from the Tabi'een, the people who were taught by the companions, the students of the companions, the Tabi'un. One of their names was Abdullah ibn Shaqiq al-Uqayli. He's from the Tabi'een. He said, Kana ashabu nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam la yarawna shay'an min al-a'mal tarkuhu kufra ghayr hadhihi as-salat. Those companions of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they didn't see the abandonment of any action as kufr other than the salah. During the time of the companions, if you were a person who didn't pay zakat, they made excuses for you. They said, la'alla, larubbama, asa, maybe he doesn't have the money, maybe this happened, maybe they made excuse. If you didn't fast in the month of Ramadan, they gave you an excuse. Maybe he's sick, maybe he's traveling, maybe he's majnoon, maybe his job is too hard. If you didn't make hajj, they said maybe. You didn't go to jihad, maybe. But if they knew that there was a person who didn't pray, they said, this person is a kafir. That's how the companions, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthaymin, Ali, this is how they looked at the one. Hey, that person over there, he doesn't pray. They'll say, he's a munafiq, he's not a real Muslim. That's not me saying that. That's how the companions used to look at the person who didn't pray. Now the question that I present to all of you is, those people who we know, or even ourselves, all of us know people, from our relatives, from our neighbors, people who work with us who don't pray. Or they just pray Jummah, or they just pray Eid. Now if the companions were here looking at that situation, they would say, our mothers are kuffar, our fathers are kuffar, our relatives are kuffar, our children are kuffar. That's how the companions would have looked at the situation. If a person is Hanafi, he's on a bona fide madhab in al-Islam, but when the madhab goes against the Quran and the Sunnah, there's a mistake, you have to put that mistake to the side and take the Quran and the Sunnah. The person who is Maliki, when your madhab goes against the Quran and the Sunnah in some issue, you have to put that mistake to the side and follow the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Shafi'i madhab, the Hanbali madhab, they're human beings and they all made a mistake. I want to ask you brothers in Masjid Salahuddin this question, and I don't want you to be shy to answer this question. Who is the only human being from this ummah who doesn't make mistakes and he's ma'asum, he's infallible? Who's that person? Who's that person? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's the only one. The only one who doesn't make mistakes, because he's been sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah mentioned about him in many ayahs of the Quran that he's been sent and the revelation was given to him. وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنَ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. This man, Ibrahim an-Nakhi, he taught the scholar who taught Abu Hanifa. Ibrahim an-Nakhi said about those people before, كانوا إذا أتوا الرجل ليأخذوا عنه العلم نظروا إلى صلاته وسمته وهديه. If one of those people in the past wanted to take knowledge from someone, before taking knowledge from the speaker, from the sheikh, before taking knowledge, they would come, they would find out where he is, and they would look at him, and they would look at his prayer. Did he pray like a chicken very quickly, go up and down? Or did he take his time when he prayed? When he prayed, was he looking around in the sky like this, looking at people when they're walking by? If you do like this, he'll wave back to you while he's praying. And they will look at his samt, the way he behaved. How was he in public? How was he dealing with the people? Was he loud? Was he aggressive? Was he truthful? And they will look at his hadi. They will look at what guidance was he upon. What was his way of worshiping? How was he? What was his guidance? Did he resemble the kuffar? Did he talk like the kuffar? Did he look like the kuffar? So the point is, Ibrahim an-Nakhi said, the first thing that they will look at is the prayer, the mechanics of the prayer. As for what's inside, that's between him and Allah. They will look, did he pray towards a sutra, something that the Prophet commanded, and he told the people, La yusalliyanna ahadukum illa ila sutra. Whenever you pray, you must pray towards a sutra, even if you're by yourself, so that the jinn will respect that you're praying, even by yourself. It's what he used to do. Never ever prayed except that something was in front of him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They will look, did he do Raf'ul Yadayn? How did he read? How did he go down? How was his back? When the Prophet prayed, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they said his back was straight. If you put a cup of water on his back, it will remain there. He wasn't like that. He wasn't like that. He didn't put his arms on the ground. He told the people, don't pray like the dog with your arms on the ground when you're in sajda. So many things to learn. He just didn't pray. He got on the minbar, on the third step, and he prayed in front of the people. They were watching him and he was praying. Whenever he wanted to get sajda, make sajda, he would come down and make sajda, get up, and he would pray. Come down and make sajda. After he said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, he said to all of those people, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, Ukasha, Bilal, they were looking. He said to those people, Sallu kama ra'aytamuni usalli. Pray the way you just saw me praying. Pray the way you just saw me praying. Look at the benefits, ikhwani, of praying correctly. The Nabi told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, man tawadda'a kama umira wa salla kama umira ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbi. Anyone who prays, he makes wudu the way he was told to make wudu, and he prays the way he was told to pray, he will be forgiven for his sins. So you can make wudu, and in making wudu, I wash under my arms, I take my finger and I do like this, I do this and go behind my neck like this and put it in here, and I do the wudu. But is that the wudu that I was commanded to make? That's the question. Was that the wudu that the Nabi told us to make? The revert comes to Islam, and we have them in this masjid. They're looking at us. This one over here is praying with his arms down. That one over here is praying like that. This one is doing this, he's doing that, and he doesn't know which one is the right way. You mean to tell me that after Salah was legislated, and the Prophet prayed in front of the people 5 times every day for a number of years, you mean to tell me that those companions didn't narrate to us exactly how he prayed? By the Lord of the Kaaba, they told us exactly how he prayed. It's your responsibility, my responsibility, to get a book and to learn yourself. And don't just rely on, I'm a Muslim and I've been praying all my life. That's not enough. You have to get a book and you have to read. Is the hadith authentic? That's telling us how he prayed. When I became a Muslim, I was surrounded in the community by people from Pakistan, and I prayed according to the way that they taught me. But then as time went on, I came to know that a lot of what I was taught was cultural, and it wasn't what I can refer back to the Prophet's Salah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Not that I'm against Pakistani people, no. If you were with people from Malawi, if you were with people from Egypt, if you were with people from Mali, you were people from the Sudan, it's the same issue. You're going to learn according to what those people are doing. But is what those people doing what you can see in the authentic hadith of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam? So that's what those people used to do of the past. They would look at the man's prayer. If his prayer was crazy, they said he's not qualified to take knowledge from, because he doesn't have adala. Now, what do you think is the case with the Muslims today? If someone came to you to marry your daughter and he drinks khamr, we're going to say, wallahi, you're not going to get my daughter, and rightly so. But if he came and he had a good job and he didn't pray, we'll say, sure, I'll marry you. And drinking khamr is less of a sin than abandoning salah. If a person doesn't pray, that's a bigger sin and a bigger crime than drinking khamr. Drinking khamr is a kabira from the kaba'ir. Leaving off the salah is kufrun billah. The Muslim who drinks khamr, that's lesser than the one who doesn't pray. How did the companions look at the Salah? How did they look at the Salah? The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned the people and told the people about ad-Dajjal. Ad-Dajjal, the biggest fitna that Allah created since He created Adam until Yawm al-Qiyamah. In the prayer, He taught us, seek refuge in Allah Ta'ala from the Dajjal. In the prayer, every day. Your sunnah prayer, your wajib prayer, ista'idhu billahi fi salat, ista'idhu billahi min arba', He told the people. Seek refuge in Allah from 4 things in the prayer. And one of those things is the fitna of the Masih ad-Dajjal in the prayer. Look how they used to look at the Salah. Look, the Nabi said that when the Dajjal comes, he's going to be on this earth for 40 days, 40. The first day that he comes here, when the Dajjal comes on the first day is going to be like 1 year. It's going to be protracted. It's going to be a long time. The first day is going to be like a year. The second day is going to be like a month. The third day is going to be like a week. And the rest of the days, the other 37 days will be like these days. It's not for you and me to say how, why. Allah does what He wants to do. So the first day, it's going to be like a whole year. Second day, a month. Third day, like a week. The fourth and subsequent days, like the days that we have. When the companions heard that, what was the question? They said, Ya Rasulullah, kayfa nusalli? How do we pray if that's the case? That's what they're thinking about. They're thinking, if the first day is like a year, how are we going to pray Fajr, Dhuhr, Maghrib, Isha, Asr, Maghrib, Isha? How? That's the thing, because that's what their lives were moving with. Today, if the people were to hear that hadith for the first time, the first day that Dajjal is here will be like a year. The second day is going to be like a month. The third day is going to be like a week. And then the rest of the days will be like just the regular days. The person now hears that today. He'll say, well, I hope when he comes that first day, it's my vacation time. I hope it's during the time of the World Cup. I hope it's during the time when I can have, I can sleep longer. How long will I be able to sleep? That's what we'll question. The companions want to know, how do we pray? He told them, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, qaddiruha taqdira. You have to try to figure it out. Do your best. And that hadith goes to help us in places like this part of the world, where the day and the night gets crazy during the winter months and there's no twilight and things like that. We do the best by making the taqdeer. That's how the salat was with the companions. Another example, and there's just many examples. Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, the Amir al-Mu'mineen. We all know in the story of the maqtal of Umar was assassinated by a coward Persian, a Majusi man. He was a coward. He didn't want to face Umar face to face like a man. Let's square off. I feel this way about you, and I'm telling you what's on my mind. I'm a man, you're a man. How do you want to deal with this situation? He wasn't like that. He was a coward. He was a coward to the degree that he decided to assassinate Umar while he was praying. And one of the reasons why the coward kafir chose the time of salat is he knew that when those companions started praying, they were focused. That's the time when you can take advantage of them. You can steal things from them at that time. That's the time you can take advantage of them, because they weren't looking around. They weren't looking around. They were paying attention to the place where they were going to prostrate, and they were thinking about what was being read and what was being said and who they were standing before. So the coward, when Umar started the salah, he came up with a sword, a little knife that was poison, put it in his stomach and turned it and ran away. On his way out, he started stabbing other people in the line in the first row. They caught him before he got out of the line. But what did the companions do? Did they panic? If we were to pray in a masjid and the imam caught a heart attack and we just stopped praying and we called 911, no one can blame us. We're trying to save this man's life, bi'idhnillah. The companions didn't panic. The man stabbed him. Umar said, the dog has killed me. He turned around and he chose Abdurrahman Ibn Auf, who was in the first line behind the Imam from the ulama, he pulled him up and he just walked up and kept praying. He shortened the prayer, short surah, he shortened the prayer. After the salat, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, they took the people who were killed, who were stabbed, to wherever they needed to go to be taken care of. So the first point here is, they didn't lose their minds. They continued that salah. When they took Umar to his house, they knew that Umar was a strong man. They thought that Umar was going to live. They gave Umar some milk. He drank that milk and the milk came out of his stomach. They said, this is it, he's going to die, he's going to check out. This is a sign the Arabs know. If what you eat or drink comes out of your intestines, you're done. They knew he was going to die. He lost consciousness. The people didn't want him to lose consciousness because they knew if he goes to sleep, he may not wake up. They were trying to keep him awake. He wouldn't stay awake. Abdullah ibn Abbas said, I know what to do. Abdullah ibn Abbas said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, as-Salah, it's time for the Salah. Umar woke up. He woke up. He said to the Muslims who were around him, Wallahi, la salata, la imana liman la salata lahu. He said, there's no iman for the one who doesn't pray. Again, number two, what woke him up was, it's time for salah. The man's intestines are open. He wasn't listening to the people. They couldn't wake him up. But when he heard it's time for salah, he woke up and he told the people, Wallahi, la imana liman la salata lahu. Let's take that statement of that companion and put it on our wives. Put it on our children. Put it on our relatives. Put it on ourselves. La imana liman la salata lahu. And he died, radiyallahu anhu. But he died how? He died trying to make wudu, to make salah in that condition. That's how those companions used to look at the salah. No one's asking a person here, if you have a cold, if you have a headache, you don't have to come to the masjid. You make salah at home. If you live far from the masjid, you don't have to come to the masjid. You make salah at home. No one's asking, Allah's not asking us to break our necks to make salah. But He's telling us, إن أول ما يحاسب به العبد من أعماله يوم القيامة الصلاة. The very first thing Allah is going to ask you about Yawm al-Qiyamah is that prayer. What did you do about it? The very first thing you're going to be questioned. You want to know how the salat was important to those companions? Then look at the murabbi of the companions, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Nabi, when he was dying, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, he used to come out and he had his head wrapped up, and they used to bring him out and they would bring him to the salat and he would sit down and pray because his head was having so much headache. And that's how the companions used to do. One of them, if he became sick, they made jihad, he fell off of his horse, he was limping, something happened, he was hurt, he would get with two people and he would walk between them to come to the masjid. Not out of showing off ar-riya, not out of showing off. He would do that because the salat and the jama'at was important to them. And they looked at it as something normal. Because if he didn't come to the masjid, they would think this man is a munafiq. So they didn't want to push that tuhma off of them. They didn't want that to be connected to them. When the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam couldn't come to the masjid anymore, he couldn't come to the masjid, he said to the people, tell Abu Bakr to lead the people in the prayer. Ya Rasulullah, Abu Bakr, when he leads the people in the prayer, he's crying and we can't listen to him, we don't hear him. Tell Abu Bakr to lead the people in the prayer. When he's crying, Ya Rasulullah, we can't listen to his prayer. That's the condition of the companions in the salah. But that's not what I want right here. What I want is what happened with the Nabi. When he was about to die, he lost consciousness. He lost consciousness. He woke up and he said a few words. So this is a question, that's a trivia question for you younger brothers and all of you. If someone were to ask you, what were the last words that came out of the mouth of al-Mustafa? The very last words. He could have said anything, a lot of things. Allahumma ighfir li wa li ummati. He could have said that. Forgive me and my ummah. He could have said anything. Oh Allah, make it easy for my ummah. Protect my ummah. He could have said anything. What were the last words? Ali ibn Abi Talib said, the last words that came out of his mouth were, he lost consciousness, he woke up. He said to the community, as-salat, as-salat, wa ma malakat aymanukum. Take care of the prayer, take care of the prayer, and take care of your right hand possessions. Take care of your slaves, take care of your wives, take care of your children, take care of the people under your authority. And he lost consciousness. Time went by. He woke up again. What do you think he said now? Did he say something different? He said the same thing. As-salat, as-salat, wa ma malakat aymanukum. Take care of the prayer, take care of the prayer, and take care of your right hand possessions. He lost consciousness. The third time he woke up. After some time went by, as-salat, as-salat, wa ma malakat aymanukum. Take care of the prayer, take care of your right hand possessions, and then he died. Now I'm asking all of you, Abdullah, Ahmed, Bilal, Abdurrahman, Ghulay, Liban, I'm asking all of you, do you think that there was some hikmah in the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the last thing that came out of his mouth, the last kalam of an-nabuwah to Bani Adam, no more Nabi after him, the last kalam of the khatam of the Anbiya, as-salat, as-salat, wa ma malakat aymanukum. Do you think he said that abathan, just messing around? He didn't have something better to say, something better to do? That was the salah with those companions. Now, we're in this country, in Canada. It's not easy taking care of these children, teenagers in our own homes. They don't get up and pray. And if you put too much pressure on them, we're afraid we may make them run away from Islam. We don't want that to happen. We don't want that to happen. But we have to do something. We have to do something about sitting those kids down and talking to them. But before talking to them, we ourselves have to be examples. We ourselves have to be examples. Those of us who have problems praying and we don't pray, one of the reasons is that's what we saw from our parents. They didn't put emphasis on the salah for us. So I didn't take it that seriously. Now that I'm a parent, I don't put that emphasis with my parent, with my children, and as a result, the pattern is going to continue. A vicious cycle. A vicious cycle. So here in Masjid Salahuddin, may Allah Ta'ala make all of us from the Salihin and the Salihat, and may He make the Islah of our affairs. The first talk that I want to say to you brothers and you sisters as well is the importance of the Salah. As-salat, as-salat, wa ma malakat aymanukum. Take care of this prayer to the best of your ability. The person who owes on to 1/10 of Islam, all he's praying is 5 times a day. That's all. 5 times a day. He's doing a lot in relationship to the time that we're living. But if he can make more salat than that, then he should make more salat than that. Especially if there was a time during his life when he didn't pray. How do we make up for those prayers that we missed when we were not praying? The prayers that we were negligent? The Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah will tell the malaika, look at the salat of my slave. And if his fard prayer is lacking, it's naqisa, if it's lacking, then look at his nawafil and complete the fard prayer with his nafila. That's one of the inspirations and one of the incentives in the month of Ramadan. When you're tired praying Taraweeh, stay in the masjid and keep praying to make up for all of those prayers that you missed. Praying the 2 rakats of Tahiyatul Masjid, ad-Duha, 12 rakat, whatever you can do. There's the prayer of Salat al-Hajjah. There's the prayer of so many different prayers in this religion. Do what you can do. Those of us who missed some prayers, you make tawbah to Allah Azza wa Jal, and you just try to make more and more nawafil. Make more and more nawafil. The first thing that Allah is going to question us about Yawm al-Qiyamah, ikhwani, will be this prayer. If this prayer was right and exact, the mechanics, you know how to do it, and also internally, the jawhir of the salat, how you have khushu and concentration. If it was right and exact, the rest of the deeds are going to be right and they're going to be exact. If this prayer was lacking, the rest of the deeds are going to be lacking. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make it easy for us, inshallah, to make the salat the qurra of our eyes, and to make the salat something easy for us to do, so that we can be able to do it in a way that is pleasing to him. This is what we wanted to present to you brothers in a way of advice on this night, inshallah, the night that the kuffar, these Christians, are so happy because they actually believe Isa ibn Maryam was murdered and he came back to life on this day, on this Sunday. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. From the people of those who worship Allah and they don't know what they're doing. Muslims are like that as well. We don't want to be like that. Pray the prayer sometimes, don't pray it sometimes. When we do pray, we don't pray it the right way. Those kuffar of Quraysh, they used to make salah. Kuffar of Quraysh, they used to make salah. Allah said about the kuffar of Quraysh, وَمَا كَانَ صَلَاتُهُمْ عِنْدَ الْبَيْتِ إِلَّا مُكَاءٌ وَتَصْدِيَةٌ. The salat of Quraysh at the Kaaba was nothing but clapping hands and whistling. They were just having a party. But it wasn't ibadah of Allah. Those people were having a party, but they were making shirk with Allah, so it didn't count. They were doing a worship that Allah didn't sanction, He didn't author. As a result of that, it's not going to be accepted. It wasn't the right way. Those kuffar of Quraysh showing their sincerity, they would be sincere. The man would say, I want to make tawbah to Allah. They believed in Allah, but they believed in those other gods who help them to get to Allah. He said, I want to make tawbah to Allah. He or she during that time would take their clothes off, all of their clothes. They said, I drank khamr in these clothes. I murdered someone in these clothes. He committed zina in those clothes. I did this, I did that. So he would take all of his clothes off. The lady would take all of her clothes off. And then they would go around the Kaaba making tawbah to Allah with sincerity. With sincerity. But that sincerity wasn't accepted by Allah Azza wa Jal because that's not what Allah sanctioned. First, they're making shirk with Allah. Secondly, who told them to do that? So that goes to show, Khwani, the salat that we want to pray, the ibadat of al-Islam, the aqeedah of what we understand, it has to be what is sanctioned by Allah. It has to be correct. أَمْ لَهُمْ شُرَكَاء شَرَعُوا لَهُمْ مِنَ الدِّينِ مَا لَمْ يَأْذَنْ بِهِ اللَّهُ وَقَدِّمْنَا إِلَى مَا عَمِلُوا مِنْ عَمَلٍ فَجَعَلْنَاهُ هَبَاءً مَنْثُورًا. They're going to come Yawm al-Qiyamah with all of those prayers, whatever they did. Allah is going to make it like the scattered particles, like the sun when it comes through the window. The sun comes through the window, the rays of the sun. You take a pillow and you hit it like that. Those particles, it's haba manthur. They're going to come with all of these actions, all of the prayer he did. But it's nothing because he didn't do it the right way. He didn't do it the right way. So let us try our best, to the best of our ability, to be examples for our kids. We learn how to pray first, and in a nice way, easy way. Sit those shabab down, sit our wives down, and talk to these people about the importance of the legislation of this prayer. If you brothers have any questions for the next 5 minutes concerning what we just mentioned, we don't mind dealing with any of your as'ila. What time is the adhan for Isha? Huh? The adhan is 9:15. If you brothers have any questions, inshallah, we'll deal with your questions. If not, it's the fatwa about working for insurance companies and insurance brokers. No doubt insurance is from the kaba'ir in al-Islam. Riba is from the kaba'ir in al-Islam. It's not permissible to make this type of cooperation with people with riba. It's from the akbar al-kaba'ir in the deen of Allah Ta'ala because it is devouring people's money with what is haram. وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا أَمْوَالَكُمْ بَيْنَكُمْ بِالْبَاطِلِ. Don't devour people's money the wrong way. If I sell you something, I should sell you a product that doesn't have any faults with it. I can't sell you a defective product, and you can't give me money that's counterfeit. So with the issue of insurance, you're giving people money for something that may not even never happen. Car insurance, all of that insurance is haram. You're giving the man the money for something that didn't even happen. You went the whole year and you didn't have an accident. By which haqq is he getting your money? What service is he giving you? He's eating your money with haram. That's the system of the dhanam, kafar. But we're compelled to get certain kinds of insurance. You're compelled. If you don't have that insurance on your car, you're going to get in trouble. So you have to get that. La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha. No problem, because you have to do it. But get the least amount of insurance. Don't get what is beyond the call of duty. As for working in these places, it's better not to work in there. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Insurance is ithm and udwan and dhulm. But that doesn't mean that I'm telling Amr min al-Nas, who works in the, I'm not telling you go quit your job. I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you it's better for you to find another job. It's better for you to try to find another job. Da'ma yuribuka ila ma la yuribuka. Wallahu a'la wa a'la. Tfadli ya Shaykh. Concerning the ta'khir of the salat, something happened with the companions. What was collected by Imam Bukhari, one of the greatest scholars of Islam from the Tabi'een. He was from the Sighar al-Tabi'een. His name was Muhammad ibn Shihab al-Zuhri, tremendous Imam of al-Hadith in Islam. He was living in Sham, and he came in upon the companion Anas ibn Malik. Anas ibn Malik was in Sham. Muhammad ibn Shihab al-Zuhri, when he saw Anas, he was crying. The companion was crying. The Tabi'i said, "Why are you crying, Anas?" He said, "Wallahi, لا أعرف شيء مما كنا عليه على عهد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إلا هذه الصلاة وهذه الصلاة قد دعيت وهذه الصلاة قد دعيت." He said, "I don't know anything that the people are doing right now. I don't recognize anything that the people are doing like we used to do during the time of the Nabi, the companions. We used to be brothers without racism. We used to make sacrifices for the masjid and for each other. We used to care about each other. We used to be people who were clear and distinct. We're Muslims and they're kuffar. And you can see the difference between us and them. The way the religion was, when we were with the Nabi, I don't recognize what's going on with you people. You people are stingy. You people are lazy. You people borrow money and don't pay it back. You people are lying. You people. He said, the only thing that I recognize that is similar to what it was during the time of the Nabi is the Salah. And the Salah that you're doing has been lost. What did he mean by the Salah was lost during the time of the Tabi'een? He didn't mean that they weren't praying. This hadith is collected by the Imam al-Bukhari. One of the scholars who translated or explained the hadith of al-Imam al-Bukhari was al-Imam Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali. He has a book called Fathul Bari, just like Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. But Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali died before he completed his book. He explained that hadith. He said the meaning of Anas' word, radiyallahu anhu, that the salat is lost during the time of the Tabi'een is that the bad rulers, the oppressive rulers were present during the time of the Tabi'een, and the rulers were making the ta'khir of the salat. Al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi, the Prophet told Abu Dhar, Ya Abu Dhar, kayfa bikum إذا كانت عليكم أمراء يؤخرون الصلاة عن وقتها. How is it going to be, Abu Dhar, if you have leaders over you who wait until the prayer is out of the time? You know what they used to do? You want to know what they used to do? Yazid ibn Muawiyah, not Muawiyah radiyallahu anhu, Yazid and those people like that, they used to on Friday, they would make Salatul Jum'ah at Maghrib time. And they used to tell the community, if we catch any of you praying by yourselves, we're going to get you. We're going to get you. And because they were bad rulers, you better not get caught praying by yourself. So Abu Dhar said, Ya Rasulullah, what should we do when those bad leaders come and they delay the prayer? What should we do? He said, pray the salah at its proper time. Salli salah li waqtiha. Thumma salliha ma'ahum takun laka nafila. Pray the salah when it comes in by yourself. And then when it's time to pray with them, you come out and you pray with those oppressive rulers, and it's a nafila for you. So they used to make the ta'khir of the salah at that time. But the ta'khir of the salah, the delay of the salah at that time, is not like what's going on right now. The ta'khir of the salah right now is something that's permissible in most instances. Jibril came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam one day, and he prayed Salatul Fajr at the beginning, Salatul Dhuhr at the beginning, Al-Asr at the beginning, Al-Maghrib, Al-Isha at the beginning. The next day he came and he prayed Salatul Fajr at the end, Salatul Dhuhr at the end, Al-Asr, Maghrib, Isha. And he told the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is the time of the salah for your ummah. So there's a window of opportunity. There's a window of opportunity. They asked him, Ya Rasulullah, ayyul amal ahabbu Allah? Qala as-salat ala waqtiha. The salat at the right time. So if you pray the salat, sometimes the Nabi would delay Salatul Dhuhr because it was too hot. For the Fajr prayer, you could pray that at the beginning. The Ahnaf people prayed a little later on. You could pray that. You could pray that. It's permissible. It's permissible. So you don't call that the ta'khir of the salah, except with some of the people who let the salah, especially Fajr, almost go out. So this is what is not permissible. For the Eid al-Adha, follow Saudi Arabia. For the Eid al-Adha, when the Muslims are Arafah, the community should follow what Saudi Arabia is doing. And that's because the Ummah is there. For the Eid al-Fitr, whatever your local masjid is doing or whatever your relatives are doing, you have to decide that issue. What's going on in the dynamics? What's all of the, if there's this fitna that goes on every year, you have to look at the situation. If this is the masjid that you're connected to and they're going to do it on a particular day and you're not going to have any fitna in your life with your relatives somewhere else or this, that, then unity in these types of issues are better. The Nabi told us sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Man taraka shay'an lillah, awadahu ma huwa khayru minhu." Anyone who leaves something for Allah, Allah will replace it with what is better than that he left. So I'm going to leave this thing for the sake of unity. This is a time where this unity can be accomplished, where I don't keep talking, I don't give my opinion. I think you guys should have followed Saudi Arabia. That's what I think. But our community, we started fasting after them. Okay, I'm going to fast with you guys. I'm not going to fast with them. So stay with the community. Stay with the community. Because the same ikhtilaf is something that the companions had. And they didn't fight each other, and it did not divide the community. Some of them were fasting a day where the others broke the fast. So it's not a big issue. It only becomes an issue, as Ali ibn Abi Talib said. He said, knowledge used to be like this. That's what knowledge used to be. It used to be like this. That's all. Ar-Rahman al-Arsh istawa. It used to be like this. When the companions heard that, they said, Allahu Akbar, al-Arsh istawa. And they will look up, oh Allah, give me. But then Ali ibn Abi Talib said, people who don't have knowledge started getting involved, giving the opinions, and now knowledge is like this. It's confused. Everyone has an opinion. It's not for everybody to have an opinion because everyone is not qualified to have an opinion. So in this issue of the Eid, don't you add on to the confusion with your opinion. Well, I think. That's the reason why people in responsible positions, they're going to be questioned in front of Allah. You follow them and you give advice. And that's it. Wallahu a'lam. We have this question, Ikhwani, that says both of those are permissible in Islam. Oh, should we take the money earned from riba income and like I think building masjids? Yes, it's permissible, inshallah. It's permissible. If a person is going to get riba in his savings, in his checking account, they're going to give him riba, they're going to give him a bonus for Christmas, they're going to give him some money, an Easter present, some extra money, $50 extra money because of Easter, Christmas. That's haram. You can't eat that, you can't use that. So if you can give that money to the masjid and don't expect any reward for it, it's permissible. And if you're a person who needs it yourself, then go ahead and use it. If you need it yourself, why are you going to give it to somebody else? If you need it yourself without having a tamar, you're not really wanting it, coveting it, you want it. It's just my condition. Use that to pay your taxes. Use that to pay the water bill. Use that to pay the electric bill. And if you want to give it to the masjid, if you want to give it to a poor person, give it to him, but don't expect any reward. In the past, the scholars used to tell the people, in this type of money, put it in some mashru' al-am. Put it in something like building the roads, building the masjid, making a well, something that everyone will get benefit from, and don't expect any reward. But again, if you need that money, pay some oppressive bill with it. They're charging you something that's oppressive. There's a bill, you shouldn't have to pay it. Just the system is dhulm. So you take that haram money and you pray that haram thing with it that they're killing you with. What about buying a house on a mortgage, based on a mortgage? As I told you, ikhwani, riba is a kabira from the kaba'ir. It's from the akbar al-kaba'ir. It's from the biggest sins. Times, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And he used to say, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And he used to say, assalamu alaikum. If you do this in the masjid, assalamu alaikum, the people are going to say, subhanallah. Subhanallah, sheikh. Subhanallah. And they'll just keep waiting. And then if the imam turns around, says, start doing the dhikr of Allah, they're going to say, hey, we have to pray again. But if you read about these issues, you'll see the different ways that he used to do different things. That book is written by Shaikh Nasiruddin al-Albani. Nasiruddin al-Albani is one of the greatest muhaddiths of this time that we're living in. And as I told you earlier, there's only one person who's ma'soom, mistakeless. What's his name? Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Is al-Albani ma'soom? Is he mistakeless? La, wallahi, he's not mistakeless, but he is a big scholar, and he went through over 300 books to put that book together, and it's been translated into English. So get that book, inshallah. Akhuna. Alaikum salam. Naam? Now, that's a good question, ikhwani. Some of the madhabs and some of the people teach you, if you move 3 times in the salah, batalat salatuka. If you move 3 times, there's a hadith that a man was scratching his beard, and it said that the Nabi said, "Lo khasha hadha fi salatihi lamma fa'ala." If he had khushu', he wouldn't have been doing that. So some of the madhabs say, if you move 3 times, you have to start the salat again. I just told you that the Nabi prayed on the minbar, and when he wanted to make sajda, he got down. How many steps were on his minbar? 3. So he had to take 3 steps down and a step over and a step back up and 3 steps. That's more. He did that how many times? He allowed us while we're praying to kill the snake or the scorpion. If you're praying, you can kill the snake and keep praying. Or the scorpion if he's going to bother you. The Nabi was praying and Aisha came and knocked on the door. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam backed up to the door and opened up the door and walked back up and he kept praying. I don't tell you to do that. You're praying and you go downstairs and you make the tea and you make tea and come back upstairs. And you guys are laughing. Someone would understand that from me. So it's permissible to move. Your child is playing with the electric, with the plug. You're afraid for your child. You can walk over and pull that child. The Nabi used to pray with his granddaughter Usamah. He would put her down when he makes sajda, pick her up when he gets back. You can move. But you move with what is ma'qul. With what is ma'qul. Because he said about the salat sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, inna fi salat la shughla. Inna fi salat la shughlan. Yani al-insan wa mashghul bis salat. He has to make the tarkeez in his recitation. What rak'ah is he on? He has to think about the ayat. There's a lot of things. So when he's praying, he is not in need of someone standing in front of him and his aura is being exposed when he makes sajda. He doesn't need someone in front of him with a Heineken t-shirt on. We shouldn't come to the masjid with that nonsense, with that craziness. Come to the salat and come to the masjid with the adab of our religion. اوكي اخواني، نكتفي بهذا القدر ان شاء الله تعالى حتى ننصرف. عندنا مسافة بعيدة طويلة علينا ان نقطعها. اخر سؤال عند الشيخ، اخر سؤال. تفضل يا أخي. لا، هذا الذي وراءك. That's the last one. تفضل يا أخي. Permissible. Concerning bringing the kids to the masjid, and the issue is very easy. The children of the companions used to be in the masjid. They used to come, Hassan and Hussein. The Nabi would make sajda and he would be in sajda for a long time. And the reason why he stayed in sajda for a long time is because his grandson was on his back. For the Jummah prayer, he was given the khutbah and he saw Hassan about to do something and get hurt. And the Nabi came off of the mimbar and he picked the boy up and got back on the mimbar, showing them that this is from the children can be in the masjid. He says, sometimes I start to pray and I want to read for a long time, but I hear the crying of the baby and I want to make this prayer short for the mother, showing that the kid is in the masjid. In the month of Ramadan, the companion said, our children used to fast with us in Ramadan. And when they started to get hungry in the masjid and make noise, we would give them toys to keep them quiet until the Maghrib time. So you go into these cultural masjids, the cultural masjids that we bring these ideas back from our countries that help our children to become extreme and radical. The Imam is speaking a language that the kids doesn't understand. He's speaking Somali, he's speaking Arabic, he's speaking Urdu. The kid doesn't, he knows English. Or maybe he's speaking English, but it's not the English that he understands. They're not on the same. So when the kid goes and he meets someone and that person is talking jihad, we gotta kill him, Islam, izzatul Islam, he says, this is the one, this is the one. And then the kid goes somewhere and he kills himself and he blows himself up. This is a backwards way of Islam, backwards, cultural Islam. No facilities for the ladies. There are masjids from where we come from, the lady doesn't even come to the masjid because she doesn't know. She doesn't know. The lady Hani, she said, حفظت سورة قاف من في رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إنه كان يقرأها على المنبر كل يوم الجمعة. That whole surah, Qaf wal Quran al-Majid, she memorized it directly because she was in a masjid. They have a door in the Prophet's masjid called Babul Nisa. Last thing, those cultural masjids, they put a loha on the door. جنبوا مجانينكم وصبيانكم مسجدنا. Keep your crazy ones and your children out of our masjids. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Prophet said, جنبوا مجانينكم وصبيانكم من مسجدنا. The Nabi never said that. Keep your crazies and your kids. But in saying that, that doesn't mean that you bring your kid to the masjid and he runs around and he's going crazy. No, he has to have adab. He has to respect the hurma of the masjid. Last question for you, Sheikh. Well, akhi, I wasn't there. And as they say, al-hukmu ala shay far'un tasawwurihi falam ahdar. I wasn't there. So I can't make any ta'liq what the Imam did, right or wrong. But generally speaking, we have a way of making al-amr bin ma'roof and al-nahi an al-munkar. Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmati wal mu'idati al-hasana wajadilhum billati hiya ahsan. Al-hikmah is wad'u shay fi mahalli. I wasn't there. But what I would say to you brothers in leaving, listen, what I'm telling you in leaving, we have to have sabr with our imams. We have to have sabr with our administrations. I'm a married man and I'm not perfect. My wife, when I make a mistake, I want her and I expect her to have sabr with me. I'm not perfect, I make mistakes. I don't want her when I'm sitting at the dinner table. I don't want her screaming at me in front of my children, embarrassing me in front of my guests, embarrassing me in front of her relatives, my relatives, and I'm not perfect. And we're all married people and we all make mistakes. How do you want your wife to deal with you? You're the imam of the house. You're the imam and you're making mistakes. You want your wife to have some sabr and overlook and so forth and so on. That's number one. Number two, in this masjid, we have to support the administration. We have to support the imam, because in supporting them, it doesn't mean you just let anything happen. It means that you advise them behind closed doors with sincerity. We want our community to move forward. We have a lot of goals and objectives, formidable objectives. Our children, our wives, ourselves, political issues going on. We need infrastructure. The masjid needs money. We have so much that we have to do. We can't allow and we can't afford crazy mentalities to make the waters even more murkier. And that's why I say to you brothers, you guys, the Quran and the Sunnah, the way those companions understood it, it's the blueprint for us. Abu Bakr is an Arabi Asil, a real Arab from Quraysh. Bilal ibn Rabah is Habashi. Salman al-Farisi is a Persian. Suhaib al-Rumi is a Roman man. Roman. Look at the distinctions between them. Abdullah ibn Salam is a Jew, Yahudi. Look at the difference. Allah said about the Yahud, لَتَجِدَنَّ أَشَدَّ النَّاسِ عَدَاوَةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الْيَهُودِ وَالَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا. But when they accepted al-Islam, those differences, when they accepted Islam, and they allowed that Quran and that Sunnah to navigate their way and chart the way for them, the whole world became Muslims. Now we want to do it a different way. I'm a doctor, you have to listen to me. I'm from this tribe, you have to listen to me. I was here when the masjid started, you have to listen to me. I'm more intelligent, I live over here, I have a new car, you have to listen to me. I think this about my... La ya akhi. We have a lot of jobs to do. Take it easy, take it easy. Respect each other, be easy. The kitab and the sunnah, the way those companions understood. Now I'm going to ask you guys to let me go as your seer. I'm the seer. I have to get out of here. I have a long way to go. If he left the phone over there and the salah is going, and it's going on and on and on, what should he do? It's part of the responsibility of the imam. When the Nabi used to pray sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he didn't do what the imams do today. Just Allahu Akbar and we start praying. The Nabi made sure that the lines were straight, and he said things to prepare the minds of the people. That's one of the reasons why we pray the sunnah, to get prepared for the fard. You just don't go into it. You pray those days before Ramadan, Sha'ban, to get ready for Ramadan, and so forth and so on. So the imam, part of his responsibility is to remind the people of these issues about the phone as well. But let's just say it happened, he forgot, and it starts to go off. And then the song comes on, the ringtone, because it happened with us as well. The song was a bad song actually in our masjid. The guy said, I'm not saying that you a gold digger, but you're not messing with a broke nigga. That's what the song was saying. And it was embarrassing, it was disturbing. To be honest with you, akhi, I don't know the answer to that. Allahu Alam. I can't tell somebody get out of the salah. I can't say that. Allahu Alam. I'll ask that question and I'll find that question out, inshallah. It's a good question. Sorry for going beyond the time of the adhan. هذا وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم.